USA and social media. He is the ambassador of Sea Skilling Institute of Malaysia, a Silicon Valley think tank, and promoting building and independent floating cities and clean tech to support them. So he will be talking about the hydro battery for ASEAN. Over to you then.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm happy to tell you that I have some responses to the questions from the first day and from today panel as well. So I'm a mathematician by formation and investment manager by career, and I will present you today the way that Malaysia can become a hydro battery for ASEAN, and as a byproduct to improve its water security, mitigating flooding, and increasing the quality of the water reservoir. Romanian Malaysian Business Network is a think tank that promotes research consortium between bilateral research consortium between Romanian and Malaysian universities to come together into the Horizon Europe, the largest pool of research money in the world. So this is an executive summary. I will show examples of the problems with water management in Johor, Sarawak, Terengganu. The pump hydro energy storage solution they started to use in Australia, the floating PV trend. 3 examples of 15 gigawatt hour pump hydro in Johor, 3 terawatt hour in Terengganu, 1.5 terawatt hour in Sarawak, using the 2 dams, Murum and Bakun dams and lakes, that can reach $14 per megawatt hour cost of capital, which is like 5% of the lithium batteries. So you can start today to benefit of very low cost energy storage. I'll present also energy storage rights patents on floating turbines, and a way to finance infrastructure using the model of OECD for inverted bid and Europe Gateway grants. So the problems in Johor, the severe changes throughout the rainy season and long dry season, according to UTHM research published in 2023. The water level at 3 dams in Johor was falling below critical mark in 2019. 874 floods hotspots identified in November, and 25 locations with flash floods in the same year, in December. And you have a picture with a comparison between the real flooded area and generated flood susceptibility map. In Sarawak, you have the Murum Dam Lake that has dangerous overflows with road collapses in August 2022 and December 2022. The environmental impact assessment of Sarawak energy warns of cascading failure risk. The land ownership issues complicate electrical grid expansion, even if the state government has plans to reach 10 gigawatt hour hydro energy generation by 2030. In Terengganu, Keniyr Lake capacity is reduced for flood and landslide attenuation by depletion of live storage volume. It has a high annual sediment load, the highest in all the rivers in Malaysia, with over 100 tons per square kilometer per year. You have here some digital elevation model of Keniyr Lake that shows new flooding risk. And sediment accumulation reduces hydropower capacity for Sultan Mahmud Power Station that was shut down due to the landslide in 2022. Of course, the federal government announced that they will give immediate attention to the landslides in Keniyr Lake last year. There are also some grid problems. The imbalances of the grid, large-scale solar depend on the storage capacity, like also the Energy Exchange Malaysia and the ASEAN Power Grid. They all depend on increased storage capacity. NETR, the New Energy Transition Roadmap, has no reference to pumped hydro, while rivers and lakes are under state control. It mentions 800 megawatts hour energy storage plan, but it's on batteries. Malaysia also, the Malaysian grid will become a broker between Laos and Cambodian hydropower exports and Singapore imports. And like the officer of World Bank said today, we need to find a way for Malaysia to gain something from this. And pumped hydro is the way to do it. So now we start solutions. Pumped hydro energy storage, briefly PHES, is 90% of world energy storage capacity. You need just 2 lakes off river, so you don't affect the environment and fish and the penstock that can run in closed loop. You pump water with excess renewable from the lower reservoir into the upper reservoir during day, and during night it falls back through a floating turbine. And also, pumped hydro can serve as floodwater storage during heavy rainfall and storm events. It becomes a buffer. And recent published research in 2022 in UK and Malaysia can document these benefits. Grid balance and large-scale solar depend on energy storage capacity. Here in the first top right picture is Australian listed Genex Power with 1.4 gigawatts hour capacity, and you can see from 2 mine pit lakes converted into the pumped hydro energy storage, and you can see solar power paired with this. And floating solar PV. The advantage, you don't use land, which is for agriculture, for real estate, and 50% with greater solar PV efficiency due to water proximity cooling effect. It also oxygenates the lakes. And for dry season, importantly, floating PV, FPV reduces 70% evaporation loss, according to our research. On the bottom right, you see a sun-grow plant in China on top of a coal mine lake. And cleaning is a byproduct of pumped hydro. If you oxygenate by turbining and pumping, you mix air with water, so you reduce the cost for water treatment plants that are fed from the water reservoir, because they will use less electricity for oxygenation. Aeration are still the cheapest neutralization tech for acid mine drainage in the last 50 years, so this can be applied in a lake like Mammoth Lake in Sabah, where we started the project. Also, the electrical energy generation, an article from 2015 from our partner Pahang, UM electrical energy generation from Malaysia annual flood event by using pumped hydro water storage from crisis to opportunity. So the academic in Malaysia, they already seen this opportunity and started to publish papers. You can see the titles on the right. And now the examples. Sungai Lebam water battery. It needs an increased capacity to 100,000 residents in Kota Tinggi that depend on the water reserves. Endangered to evaporation loss, especially in 2019. The pumping of water from Lebam River and fill it back through a 2.5 kilometer penstock solution is scale up from phase 1.5 megawatt power and 150 megawatts hour capacity at the cost of $180 per megawatt hour. And scaling up to phase 2, phase 3, up to phase 4, it can reach 840 megawatts installed capacity and 15 gigawatts hour of storage. And the total cost, the marginal cost from phase 3 to phase 4 goes to $15 per megawatt hour. Keniyr water battery, it's two existing lakes. It needs just 3.7 kilometer above ground penstock to connect them, Keniyr and Tembat lakes, and using floating turbines to back up energy exchange of Malaysia and the ASEAN grid, absorbing renewable power during excess solar renewables in Malaysia and delivering for exports maybe to Singapore during low renewable hours. So gradually it can be developed in phases from 2 gigawatts hour, followed by 5, 15, up to 1,500 gigawatts hour. Each scaling up is done with by adding floating plants as turbines, PAT, increasing the dam height, and reaching the marginal cost of capital below $5 per megawatt hour. So to reach from 150 gigawatts hour to 500, you need to increase the height of the dam with 20 meters, and the same from 500 to 1,500 gigawatts hour. So there is also a planned 500 megawatts floating solar PV on Keniyr Lake by TMB at feasibility study level. And here is a model of 198 gigawatts hour pump hydro paired with 43 gigawatts hour floating PV that can supply 10 gigawatts renewable energy for 24/7, 20-factor capacity 100%. This is to respond to the former chairman of TNB yesterday question, where can you find the land to put so much solar? And 80% of Lake Keniyr can have 43 gigawatts floating power solar PV. Here is a detail of the mechanism. So from 43 gigawatts floating PV, we supply the grid with 10 gigawatts for 6 hours average in daily. The remaining 33 gigawatts floating PV will pump water uphill from the lower lake into the upper lake and charge to 119 gigawatts hour a hydro battery for 6 hours. And the remaining 80 hours of the day, without sun, we will discharge the hydro battery that will generate back only 180 gigawatts hour, taking account of the loss of 10%, or 10 gigawatts hour for the whole day, 24 hours. The image is done on our platform that we developed together with ANU Tech Launcher and can cover the whole world with upscaling pump hydro. You can see on the perimeter of the upper lake 5 layers that show how the lake surface grows when you go from 15 gigawatts hour to 50 to 150. Murum Bakun hydro battery is a similar high capacity pump hydro in Borneo at 550 gigawatts hour storage. When Bakun Lake water is pumped uphill 340 meters to Murum Lake. The whole volume will be 1,700 gigaliters water volume through a 2.8 kilometer penstock and 3 gigawatts hour floating pumps and turbines. When the water flows back and just 500 gigawatts hour are generated, the same penstock and floating turbines, sufficient for the whole island of Borneo to become 100% renewable energy. So the cost will be, for these 500 gigawatts hour, will be below 10% of the current cost of lithium batteries. And it can be grown in phase and developed. From one phase to another, you can option the storage capacity to renewable energy developers that can pair their new solar farms with capacity on these pair lakes. This is a close-up of shorter penstock between the two lakes. And we have also developed a rating system, a AAA pair of for the 500 gigawatts hour between the two lakes. So the material application is paired with innovation patterns. You have in these pictures upgrades of reservoir volumes with water-filled rubble dams that can go up to 8 meters high and 0.7 kilometer long. There are megawatt scale siphon turbines, 27,000 cubic meters per hour capacity. Megawatt scale floating and booster pumps for 4 kilometer discharge dredgers. So you compare the floating pump and turbines with dredgers that can desilt the sediments on the lakes that need increased capacity. And we also developed energy storage rights, has developed an innovation patent family for pump hydro energy storage. Scalable in closed loop, charged with floating solar and agrivoltaic generation. The system readiness level is 2 out of 10, but the components technology readiness level is 9. Gateway Europe projects on this year, on 8th of May, ASEAN and EU launched a Blue Book to showcase new cooperation programs under EU Global Gateway strategy. First project in Malaysia is the development of the port of Lumut. Many Malaysian business network for research consortium with UMS Sarawak for Mamut project to convert the mine with coke for a former copper mine in Lebam Hydro and Clinic with Unimas on Murum project. And Sarawak Energy as well, and with UMPSA for Keniyr. All these consortium are responding to Horizon EU research grant calls to finance the feasibilities. And it needs to say Romania is one of the 4 countries, part of the Team Europe Green Initiative, partnership with ASEAN, along with France, Germany, Austria, and the European Investment Bank. If you take a photo of that QR code, you can download the Green EU Blue Book. Here is the model that we are using for feasibility funding model. We're joined with local universities and also companies. And 2 examples of the grants we are applying with the budgets. And the thing that almost nobody knows in Malaysia is that Malaysian and EU entities access 100% renewable funds from Horizon EU.
Positive after this discussion. Over to Dan. I think Dan is very passionate about pump hydro. Yeah.
Thank you. I came in Malaysia 3 years ago, and what struck me was the fact that very low winds and very low wind. And for me, this means the best location for offshore solar in the world. And coming linked to my presentation for pump hydro with floating solar, I think Malaysia and Indonesia, they are in a region where offshore solar will become the next natural wealth to replace the offshore oil rigs. Because you can make money by reversing the carbon oil and gas extraction by putting the carbon back. This is my passion to convince people to do this here.
Thank you. Thanks for the great introduction. Over to Sati from So, maybe Dan, I'm going to come next to you. Just picking on what Nasi talked about, being on challenge, right, in terms of intermittency of renewable, especially the kind of curtailment. So, what is your vision of the pathways to 100% clean electricity as I think obviously a lot of investments go into the grid node upgrades to handle the intermittency of renewable energy projects?
So obviously I'm a big fan of pump hydro. And Malaysia is in a very good spot to control the ASEAN market. It's like if you think you're a port who owns the warehouses, controls the price of their merchandise. So pump hydro for energy storage is the warehouse where you store the energy to deliver to exporting markets. And if Malaysia takes this opportunity, it can dictate the price on the market. This is first thing. Second thing, usually the people from coal-fired power plants consider themselves that they are the black knight fighting the white knight, which is renewable energy. But there is technology, very old, called thermal energy storage. And by replacing the water boiler with the thermal energy storage system, which is it can be just stones that you heat up to 500 degrees, and then you store for several hours. And you can use at least half of the sets of a coal-fired power plant just by replacing the boiler with the storage. And you will maybe just you didn't think about it. Malta is a big company, American company that is promoting this. But imagine a transition for a coal-fired power plant that started to replace the boilers that cannot be changed back with just thermal storage. This will make them consumers of renewable. And we need to think about these fossil fuel CEOs to give them a way out. It applies also for offshore oil and gas. They are spending like $3 billion in next years, Petronas, for decommissioning oil rigs. While we can use them to inject carbon dioxide back into the depleted gas reservoir that can be extracted directly from seawater, like direct air capture, but from seawater. Consume less energy. Thanks. It will snowball for example, all the palm oil that is exported from Malaysia and Indonesia, they will take care, they can capture the methane that is emitted on the pomi ponds, which is not happening today. But imagine that this tax comes next year. I bet in 2 years you will have all the pomi ponds covered with collecting biogas. So the mechanism is in place, and all the regulation in Malaysia you already have. And anybody can enforce the compliance just looking on the satellites. So now even oil companies, the shareholders can show to the CEO, look, this is emission from your offshore oil rig. We should change you with another guy who can follow our. So I think 2050 is fine.
It's achievable. Yeah, 50, 70% or even beyond. Can we do better than 70%? But 70% is possible in 2050.
No, it's 100.
100.